Good day. You're welcome to day 2 of learning Microsoft SQL Server. On the first class, we spoke about a domain. We said a domain, a group of computers and resources that are connected together on the same network such that you can share different resources in your domain. So today, we'll be looking at how we can create two virtual machines, and then we make one of the virtual machine our domain controller, and then we connect the other machine to the domain controller. Now, before I go into that, I want to talk to us quickly about virtualization. What is virtualization? Virtualization is a terminology that is used to create a platform where you can go and use a platform to build your virtual machines. So virtualization is actually the tool that gives you the access or the process for you to be able to create your virtual machine. For this particular course, we'll be doing two different things. The first one is to start with the cloud solutions. With the cloud solution, we're going to be making use of Azure Microsoft Azure. Now, that is what we call on cloud. As you can see here, when you're talking about on-prem is talking about virtualization, where you can use your VMware workstation. We're going to go into that after 30 days of this class. But for now, we're going to start with a cloud solution. Microsoft Azure gives you $200 free credit to use for 30 days. So we're going to leverage on that to be able to create our virtual machine and see how we can tour the virtual machine, look into it, and see how we can manage our databases in the SQL Server. In doing that, we're going to have to create an Azure account, which I already showed you in previous class, how to create the virtual account. And if you cannot, you have to go watch that video. Then we're going to create the two virtual machine. Then we promote one to become the domain controller. And then we add the other computer to the domain controller. That is what we're going to do. Now, before we go into the Azure portal, I want to quickly look at a VM. As you can see on the left side of the screen, we have a virtual machine. A virtual machine in itself is just an empty computer. Think about it like your phone. Your phone is empty until you use an operating system on it. So the operating system that we're going to be learning on this course is called Windows Operating System or Windows Server Operating System. That is the operating system that Microsoft SQL Server uses. And then when we install that operating system, we're going to then go and enable a feature that is called Active Directory Domain Services. Now look at this right. We have our domain called megatech.com. Inside that domain, we have one computer here that is the domain controller. That is because when we create that virtual machine on Azure, we will now go into the virtual machine and enable a feature enable this particular feature that is called Active Directory Domain Services. We're going to install that on that computer. Then we promote it to become the domain controller. After that, we'll create another second virtual machine called Server 1, and we will join that Server 1 or SQL01, as the case may be. We'll join it to the domain controller. You're going to see that in this video. Please, when you're watching this video, you can do exactly like I am doing. All right. So now this is the Azure portal. As you can see, if you are new to the Azure portal, we did a tour of it yesterday. So the first thing you want to do when you come here, you go to your search bar, type virtual machine. When you type virtual machines, it will pop up. Click on it like this. Good. You'll see no virtual machines to display. The first thing you want to do is create. You click here and you say create an Azure virtual machine. Click on that. When you click on this, you're going to see your subscription. Your subscription is this. And right now there is no resource group. So you are going to create your first resource group. Click on create and type your resource group as this. You can say SQL resource I already explained what a resource group is on the previous video. Please go and watch the video. Good. When you create this SQL resource group, good. You see, it has created a new resource group for you. Then your first virtual machine, what do you want to call it? Call that virtual machine SQL80. Type it in, SQL80. I already had it before, but let me type it in again, SQL80. Because we're going to make that our Active Directory or our domain controller. Now, choose US East as your region. Leave everything the way it is. When you come to these images, if you do not see Windows Server, click here. Look for Windows Server 2019. Click on that. Remember I said the operating system is the Windows Server. If you remember this virtual machine I showed you here, the Windows system, the Windows operating system is what we are selecting right now. We have said create virtual machine. We are now picking the operating system. When we're done picking the operating system, we're going to set that up. When we set that up, we'll log into it and then go and enable this feature. Okay, so now that is it here, the Windows operating system. You leave everything the way it is. Now, when you go to sizes, choose this one, standard DS1V. It's just $86. If you do not see it, click on see all sizes. Then you go to the D and you see there is this first one. You click on it once. When you click on it once, you see a blue select will show you at the bottom of the screen to the left. Click on it, select. That is how you select that. When you're done with that, for your username, put your own name. I'm going to put my own name. Then choose a password that you will remember. Repeat the password. Good. The next thing you're going to do is to click on next. Disk. When you go to disk, change this one from premium. Just put it to standard SSD. All right. Put it to standard SSD. Okay. Then you go to networking. Now look at something interesting here in the networking. In the previous video, if you notice, when we're helping that student, he had issues with his own computer one joining the domain. It's because of this place. You see, automatically, Azure will create what we call the virtual network for you. The virtual network. This is it here. And it will assign an address, a subnet. So we must make sure that any computer we want to add to this domain must have this address. Okay. So now when this is like this, the next thing we'll click is management. You go to management. You want to select auto shutdown. In case you forget to shut down, okay, you want to make sure you go and select that. I live in the central time zone. I'm going to change mine to 9 p.m. to say, in case I forget, shut it down 9 p.m. for me. So I'm going to go to central time zone. You look for your time zone and make sure you select your time zone. So this is Pacific. If you're in California, I'm looking for US and Canada, that's Mountain Time. I'm looking for Central Time, Eastern Time Zone. If you're in the East, you select that. Then for my own, where is my time? I think mine is already selected by default. Central. Yes, this is it. I've selected my own Central Time Zone. Good. So, and I say, in case I forget, make sure you off this mission for me by 9 p.m. because everything we are doing is cost oriented. So you don't want to allow your cost to go further. The next, you click on monitoring, just leave it to default and all of that. Then you do review and create. So notice the way I created my first VM. The way I'm going to create my second VM will be different a bit. Because this is my domain controller, I don't want to have SQL Server installed in it. So that's why I went straight to say create a virtual machine. Now validation is passed. The next thing I'll do is create. All right. So the moment you click on create, you need to be patient. If you look at the bell sign here, it's already started. If you click on it, it's creating, it's deployment in progress. As you can see here, deployment in progress is already started creating things here for you. So this is what is going to be going on behind the scene. You wait for it to finish. You see, it's building it. So we're just going to wait patiently, and then when it's done building it, we're going to continue. As you can see, the virtual machine is done. You can see deployment is complete. So what you're going to do is you're going to say, go to resource, just for you to see what you have done. So it is still building, it's still creating it, it's almost done here, you can see. So the agent status is being worked on. As soon as it is ready, you're going to see that. So we'll go back to our home, click on virtual machines again. Good, you can see that it's up and it's running. This is the resource group. This is the status is running. Couple of things you need to know. If you need to ever stop your virtual machine, just check on this box, then you stop it here. If you need to restart it, you restart here. If you need to start it here. Okay, so now we're going to click on the virtual machine. Good, it's still working behind the scene. Okay, as soon as that agent is ready, we would continue. As you can see here, automatically, if you click on networking on the left, networking, go to network settings, you're going to see the private IP address of this computer is 10.0.0.4. That is the private IP. Look at the virtual network. It's very, very important. This is the virtual network. Okay? So while this is like this, we are going to go ahead and create our second virtual machine. Now watch this. So you go to home, click on virtual machines again. Sorry, go to home, click on virtual machines. Yes. You see here, create, click on create, say Azure virtual machine. Now, your subscription will be there automatically for you. Resource group, you click on resource group, pick the resource group you already created during your last one. This is it, I've picked it. Then this machine will be your first server. So you can call it SQL01. Still leave it in the same time zone, East, like I chose the other time. Leave it that way. Then now see here, your images. We are going to use Windows Center, Windows Server Data Center, but the difference is that we're going to come here and you choose free SQL Server. Now, this is the difference between this one and the other one, because this one, you will not just have the Windows Server for you. Azure would also help you install your SQL Server, which is what we want. So select that. You can see it. It has changed. It has loaded my price for me by default. You can see it, standard price, the same one that we chose. It has chosen everything. You come, you put your username again, the same username you used last time for consistency. You put your password, put your password again. Good. Make sure the password match each other. Yes, the port, leave it the same. The next, you go to disk. Now your disk, you want to leave it that way, the way it is, all right? Then you go to next, your networking. Now look at this. Look at, it created its own virtual network for it, all right? But it's in the same address. Can you guys see that it's the same address like the other one? 10.0.0.0.24. That is what we want to see. We want to make sure that it's the same address. Okay, good. So you leave it that way, okay? When you leave it that way, you go to next, management. You want to enable your shutdown too, okay? So that it will shut down for you in due time. Change it to the same time that you put in the other one, 9 o'clock. I want to put my central time zone, US Central. This is US Eastern, US Canada Pacific. That's it there. I pick my time zone. Next, you go to monitoring. You leave it the way it is. You go to advanced. You leave it the way it is. You go to SQL Server settings. Now, when you get to SQL Server setting, you see SQL authentication. You click on enable. Automatically picks that password that you set for it. Leave it that way by default. Look at your disk space here. Because when you are installing SQL Server, you need a space for your data drive, you need a space for your log drive, and you need a space for your term DB. And look at it here, it automatically has picked some configuration for you, which you can change later. Then the next thing is to review and create. Right now, it is doing its validation. Good, validation passed. Okay, the next thing you do is to create this virtual machine. While you are creating this virtual machine, you see submitting requests the same way you did the other one. Okay. While that is going on, it has created its virtual network. Okay. It's creating its security group and everything. You go back and you just wait for it to finish, or you can go back to home, click on virtual machines. You're going to see that it's showing you there that it's creating it. But this one is already done. So this one that is done, if you look at the address, they are similar. Okay, they're in the same address. He has 4076, 4076, which is good. That's a public IP. But let me go first of all. Okay, still creating. It's not done creating. We're going to wait for it to finish creating, and then we'll come back and continue. So just wait. It's still creating. Let's wait for it to finish. All right, as you can see, it's done creating, is running. However, you can now, I'll notice something. If you go to this SQL AD and you want to look at the private IP address, in spite of the fact that it is 10,004, but the public IP is this. So we are concerned about this address 10,004 because we want to join every computer to this particular IP address here. If you look at the virtual network address, this is the virtual network address that we would have selected to make sure that they all have the same subnet. So if you go to SQL 01 that is done, if you look at the public IP, so you see the private IP is taking that same address. We can do two things. Two things we can do. The two things we can do is to either go and change this one to 10,005 so that it will be different. Okay. But if you look at the virtual network, they are both in the same address, but this one is changed, but it has the same address as the SQL 80, which is ranging from 10,006, as you can see here. So I just want to make sure that it doesn't give us an issue when we are creating our virtual machine. So if you notice that I'm going to do two things now, just watch me. So what I can do, I can either go to SQL 01, all right, and I go to networking. When I go to networking, I can go to this place, IP config, click here, all right. Then you see this IP address here. I can click on this IP config here. I change it to static. Sorry, no, not there. Cancel. I want to edit this IP address. Let me see, Jennifer. Subnet, yep. So I want to change this IP address. To do that, let me click on network settings. Let me come to settings here. Properties. This is the public IP, this is the private IP. This is what I want to change. Let me go to configuration. I'm looking for the place to change this. I've done it before, but let's see. Network settings. Let's see. Okay, as I was saying, so you come here to, you click on this, the server itself. When you click on it, you see networking. We want to change this IP address. You click on networking here. You can either do this, then you click on this IP config here, and you click on that, this will open, then you see this one, click on this one. Then you want to change it to static. When you click on static, it will show you here, change it to 5 because you want it to be different. Then you click on save. So that is one way you can do it. It's updating it. So that's one way you can do it. So I will leave it that way. When it's done, you'll see that the private IP will change because I don't want it to be the same as the other IP address that we have over there. Okay. Okay. It's still okay. It's working on it now. What I'm just trying to, okay, it's updating everything. Okay, good. So we'll just wait for it to finish. It's trying to update everything. So we'll just wait for that to finish before we continue. So, all right, it's taking a bit time to finish that deployment. Because we updated some things, so that's why it's doing that. Okay, so I'll just leave it to keep running. So if you come here now, you look at this, you're going to see that both of them are in the same address, okay? 40, 76, 40. That's now if you click on SQL 01, you're going to see this now. If you see the private IP, you see that it has changed. So that's what I wanted to see. Okay. So if you're done with that, click on virtual machines again, create another new machine, call it Azure Virtual Machine. I just want to show you what you're supposed to do if you want to make sure that they are both in the same address. So you come here, pick the resource group that you already have. Then you go here, put this one SQL 02. Okay? Leave the time zone, leave the zone like that. Go there, automatically it has picked this for you, the image. It has picked this for you automatically. Put your name, then put your password. Then go to next, disk, leave it as default. Networking, this is the place. Now see this, automatically we're creating SQL Server 02, but it has picked the virtual network of SQL Server 01. So what we ought to have done that time is to click on this arrow. You will see the one that we want. We want this one, SQL AD. Pick this SQL AD. So you see, automatically it will pick the same subnet, give it a new listing. You see this? So to do this, so this is what you're supposed to do, all right? Then when you do that, you go to management, make sure you select your auto shutdown again, pick your time, make sure it is your time zone. Looking for my time zone. Good, I'm looking for my time zone. This is it. Then the next is to review. So it's doing its validation, validation passed, and I'll create my virtual machine. Awesome. While that is doing, you can go back to home, home, click on virtual machines. You'll see that very soon it will pop up here because it's still working. You see it's deploying a new server for you. You can close the notification. You can refresh. You can refresh this here. I want to see. Good. You see it now. So we have the new one being created, SQL 02. Okay. The IP address seems to be a bit different, but let's go in and look at it. Let's see what is happening behind the scene. You see, he put it in the same. Good. You see what we're supposed to do? He put it in the same virtual network, which is what we wanted to see. And look at, instead of giving it 10.0.0.4 like the other one, it gave it the next IP address. So you see that? It gave it the next available IP, which is 10.0.0.5. Remember the SQL AD that we had, the first one was 10.0.0.4. So this is what we're supposed to have. We're supposed to have this. This is what we are supposed to have. Okay? So why I did it this way is so that you can follow it and make sure that you have the same virtual network for this computer and the other one. I'll leave it this way. We'll try to see if we can join it to the domain if it will join. But now look at, This one has 10.0.0.5. Okay. In order not to cause confusion, I'll go back to SQL 01 that has, I remember I gave it this one too, 10.0.0.5 before I went to create that one. So I'll go to networking. When you go to networking, you're going to click on this guy here. Click on this guy. Then go back to IP config. Click on this. I want to give it a different, since I already have 5 on the other one, let me just give this one 7 so that I don't want it to clash with another address. So I'll just leave it there to update. Please, when you're watching this video, do exactly as you see me do. When you see, because I noticed that the subnet was not in the SQL 80, I created another one. Because if you do not do that, you have an issue joining the computer to the domain. Okay? So I wanted to create just 2 virtual machines, SQL 80 and SQL 01, but I did a mistake when I was creating this one. I didn't put it in the same VNet, sorry, in the same VNet as the SQL 80. That's why I created the second one. So if you are watching, make sure you do exactly like I'm doing. Again, as we said in our paint, this is our SQL 80. This is the SQL 80 we just created, SQL 80. This is it. And this is SQL Server 01, and this is SQL 02. That is what I just created now, 3 servers. Okay? As you can see here, you have 3 servers. So, like we said, the next thing would be to go into your SQL AD and install this feature, ADDS. How do you do that? Watch what I am going to do. You click on SQL AD, okay? You go to connect, click on connect, and you say download RDB file. All right, you click on keep. When you do that, you're going to open this guy and you see it will come up like this. You say connect. This will pop up. You don't want to use your normal Windows credentials. You go to more choices. You say use a different account. You put that name you used when you were creating the virtual machine. Put your password. Then you connect. When you do that, you're going to see this. You click on yes. Okay. Okay. So when we come here and we look at it like this, we wait for it to load and then we come back. MJ, don't bring that issue again, I'll tell you. That issue for that failover.
What did you say don't resolve it?
I'll tell you.
So he sent you another.
Another long email.
You replied the first one. Hmm? One thing don't say up over. It's like country or something, manager, the work authorization is expiring. So I wanted to reply and I was waiting for you, so I know what to type.
Chris,
Yes.
I talked to Chris, say they should put in for me now.
But first, this one,
Yeah, but what you will do now, we'll put them in,
no, we don't already.
hold on. All right, so when you connect to the server, you're going to see this. Let's click on this. So don't show me this message again. Good, your server would look like this. Make sure, yep, it's going to look like this. Good, that's it there. You're going to see this. So based on our paint, this, we're going to install this feature on it, Active Directory domain service. But before we do that, a couple of things that we need to do. You come to the bottom of your screen. Here, you right click it. Mine is not showing, sorry. The monitor I'm using is very small. Okay, I'm going to minimize this. You come to the bottom of your screen where you see the stats. Where is mine? Okay, you drag it down here. So this is what I'm looking for. Minimize yours. You go to the bottom of your screen, you see this stat inside the virtual machine you just created, not on your main computer, right? Click it. You say CMD. You click on OK. When you click on OK, this will come up like this. You type ipconfig, you hit enter. All right, so when you hit enter, you're going to see that IP address here. These three IP address, we need them. We need to enter them here. You now come here, you go to local server. You see the name of your computer here, SQL AD. Right now, it's not joined to any domain. It's a work group. So you scroll down to this Ethernet, double click this IPv4. You double click that, this will pop up. This will pop up. You double click this one again. You go to properties, double click properties. You would see here, when you double click properties, you would see IPv4. Double click this one. And you now say use this IP. You want to change it to all these three IP here. So you have 10.0.0.4. You have 255 here. You have 255 here. You have 255 and 0. You have 10. You have 0. You have 0. You have 1, which is like this here. So you click on OK. You click on OK. It's going to disconnect your computer and try to reconnect it back again. All right. So you wait for it to finish doing that. Good. You can see this. Don't panic. It's coming up. It will work and come back up. So now that this is there, like this, all right. So you close all of this back. You close all of this back. Good. The moment you do that, you're good to go. You see that the IP has taken that private IP that you changed to static. Okay. You now want to go to back to your dashboard. You see these arrows and features. Click on arrows and features. You click on next, next. On server roles, you want to pick the Active Directory Domain Services, ADDS, like we said. Check that up. Add features. You say next, next. Click next. Then you say install. So good. It will start installing that feature that I showed you here. So it's installing right now. What you are doing right now, what you are doing, you are installing. This is our virtual machine, the blue thing that you see. This is the virtual machine here, this one here. This blue thing that you see here is the Windows operating system. Inside the Windows operating system, we are now installing ADDS. You see it, ADDS tools. That's what we are installing inside now. All right. So we'll come back and continue when this is done installing. Don't do anything, just wait for it to keep installing. When it's done installing, you're going to come back. You can close this and you wait for it to come. Sorry, I don't know why this guy did it like this. Every other thing I did doing well, but any one single mistake, Andrew will pick and talk. That money I sent to you, you can put little on credit card and hold some when you're traveling.
Mm,
Sorry, I want to take some time off. This guy know they make me. I know they enjoy the way this MJ they do things.
wetin we talk for the
But just any small thing wey person do, this guy go just dey talk am for different things, for different ways. This guy, he really dey find something make me come up for this job.
So wetin
No be so, Toby. I just want take off time, man, clear my head, man. No go, man. No, I no fit work in this kind of mindset. I just want to take a half day off from here.
who no go say you take time off when
I need to take time off because I cannot just work when I'm thinking, when I'm just having a mindset that things may go wrong at work. And something don't happen since on Monday. We don't talk about Monday meeting. Today na Wednesday. I have to let this guy know so you know what he dey do. And when you're done installing that, you're going to see this here. If you look at the screen, you see this blue thing. So this is what makes it a domain controller. Again, well, no, let me take it here. Look at the blue thing you're going to click. You click this blue thing, promote, and this would come out. When this come out, you want to go to add a new forest, and you put the domain name. You're going to put it as megatech.com. So this is going to change it to becoming a domain controller. You click on next. When you click on next, you're going to wait. This is going to pop up. You put your password there. Put the same password that you used the other time, just to keep it consistent. And you click on next. You click on next again. The name is going to pop up here. The name is going to pop up here. And then, good. You click on next. Then when you do that, you click on next again. You click on next. Next thing will be install. As soon as this is done, the prerequisites, as soon as the prerequisite is done, you're going to click on install. So click on install. It will start to install the Active Directory domain services. That's what we are installing now. Good. Then after that, now we are working on installing this, making it a domain controller. We're going to go to each of these servers and begin to do some little tweaking before we join it to this domain. Let's go and do that. So I'm going to go to SQL 02 now and SQL 01 and do some things. Minimize this, go back to your Azure portal, click on virtual machines. You can see, refresh it. You see, I've not refreshed it. It's still the old one that is there. Refresh the virtual machine. You can see that the three of them are running now. So the first thing you want to click to SQL 0, one of the SQL servers. I just clicked on SQL 02. You go to networking. This is networking here. Click on networking. When you click on networking, you're going to see this here. Click on this IP config. Then come here, click on the IP config again. You see that the IP address is dynamic. We don't want it to be dynamic, okay? We want it to be static. We don't want the private IP to be dynamic, to be keep changing. We want it to remain constant. So we leave it at that 10.0.0.5. Okay. And then we click on save. Good. While that is updating, you can go back to virtual machine. Okay, we'll wait for it to finish. Don't be in a hurry. Let's wait for it to finish. I don't want to leave. I want to make sure that it's saving. Okay, it's updating it. Let's wait. When it's done updating it, we'll go to the other one. While that is doing, let's go and see how our domain controller is. Put your mouse on the blue icon for the remote desktop servers. When you do that or you minimize this, good. I think it's done. So let's wait and let's see. This is still updating this. We're just going to wait patiently for it to finish. It's changing the IP address to static. Good, it is done. So click on virtual machines again. Go to SQL 01. I think we already did that in SQL 01. Repeat the same thing, networking. When you go to networking, you're going to see IP config. Click on IP config. It's static. We already changed it before. So if not, you click here, you change it here. It's already in static, so we'll leave it. That one is done. So now let's go now and see our SQL 80. Our SQL 80 is done installing that thing. Click on SQL 80, go back to connect to it, download RDP file, say keep, then you open it. When you open it, this will pop up again. Click on connect. This would open up. This is it. This is it. Then you click on more choices. Let me do that again. Click on this download RDP file. Click on connect. This would show up. Click on more choices. Use a different account. Then this is it. You now put your name. Put your name, then you put your password. Click on OK. Then this will show up. You click on yes. Then you would see your virtual machine would open up. Now, this virtual machine that is SQL 80 is no longer just SQL 80. It is now your domain controller because you have done what? You have installed the Active Directory domain services to it. So now it's now your domain controller. And the name of the domain is megatech.com. Okay. All right. So the Windows operating system is loading. Just be patient for it to finish loading. Okay. So it's still loading. We're going to be patient for it to keep loading. All right. So hello. Hello. Who is this, please? Okay, yeah, Sophia, I got your email. I'll review it and get back to you. Thank you. Bye-bye. So this may take some time. Just be patient for it to finish. You know, it's applying all the group policies, just doing its thing. So please wait. Don't be in a hurry. I'll pause the video. I'll come back when it's done and continue. So the note I reply, Chris. We're doing good. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. I'll look into this. So as you can see, yes, this is it. Your server manager would come back up, as you can see here. And the next thing you want to do is to go to local server. Now look at it. The name of your computer is SQL80, but your is no longer workgroup, it's now domain name megatech.com. That is what you want to see. If you scroll to the right, you go to tools. If you click on tools, you see Active Directory users and computers. When you click on that, Active Directory users and computers, you're going to see your domain. Your domain would show up. This is your domain. If you click on this arrow, you'd see users. This is where you see everybody that is registered in your company. Right now, I'm the only user. Okay? So we're going to leave it this way for now. We're going to leave it this way for now. And then I just wanted to show you this. If you click on computers, right now, no computer has joined this domain. And that is what we want to do. We want to go join one of the computers to the domain. Let's go do that. So I'll go to virtual machines. I want to join this virtual machine to the domain. So I'll click on this. Okay. I click on this. I'll go to connect. Click on connect. And you do connect, you click download RDP file. Click on keep. Then you say open. When you do open, you come here and you say connect. When you say connect, the same thing, you go to more choices, use a different account, then put your username and your password. Then you click on OK. When you click on OK, this would come up like this. Click on yes. And now your SQL Server is opening up. And you can see the Windows operating system is loading. So you're going to be patient and wait for it. It's loading your Windows operating system. Okay, you're going to be patient for it to finish loading. So back to this diagram. What we have done now, we have made this the domain controller. Now we want to connect one of these servers to this domain controller because it is now what we call Active Directory Domain Services. Good. That's the operating system there. Like we did that last time, just click on yes here. Like we did during the last time, this is your server manager. Wait for it to finish loading. Check this box and say, don't show me again. So click on local server. Let me show you a couple of things here. Look at, this is the name of the computer. Right now, it has not joined any domain. It's in a work group. So we want to change this IP address. Then we connect it to the IP address of the domain controller. Look at this. Double click this IP. this Ethernet. When you double click it, it's going to pop up, something's going to pop up on your screen. That's it there. I did it twice. So double click on Ethernet, double click on properties, double click on IPv4, and you're going to do the same thing. Use this IP. So you want to put the IP address of this computer in 1, 2, 3. Then in this line 4, you will put the IP address of your domain controller. I already know the IP address of my domain controller. If you don't know it, minimize this. Then go to your virtual machines. Look at your domain, your SQL AD, click on it. You want to see the private IP. This is a private IP, 10.0.0.4. So you go back to your virtual machine. The IP address for the domain controller, first of all, put it here. It is what? 10.0.0.4. Then what is the IP address of this computer? Remember what I told you? You need to scroll down. Sorry, minimize this. Minimize this machine, scroll down, go to the stats. You see yours, but mine somehow is not showing. So that's why I minimized it. Right click it, do run, type CMD, hit enter. Then you type ipconfig. Look at it. This is the the 3 IP address we need to put in that box. So you minimize this again. If you cannot see it, scroll down. You would see it here. This is the IP address. This is where I am working on. Good. So this 3 IP address, this one is 10.0.0.5. This is 255, 255, 255. Then this is 10.0.0.1. When you finish doing that, remember this is the IP address of your domain controller. Okay? When you finish doing that, you just click on OK. It's going to disconnect and reconnect again like the other one. Okay, just give it a few seconds. It will disconnect and connect again. So it's reconnecting. That's disconnected. Now it's trying to connect again. Okay, it's connecting again, as you can see. So it's reconnected. Then you click on close. Then you click on close. If you scroll up here, you would see that the IP address would have reflected. Look at it. It has reflected here. But then it is still work group. So you want to join it to the domain. You click on this work group. You click on change. You see domain. And what is the name of the domain? megatech.com. Because they're in the same virtual network, you should be able to see that computer. You should be able to see that domain. Look at it. It will now show you this. All you need to do is to put the name there, that name that you use to connect. Then you click on OK. Look at this. Welcome to Megatech domain. The moment you see this, the computer has successfully joined the domain. Click on OK. Good. You must restart your computer. Click on OK. Click on close. Restart this computer now. Excellent. So now that is how we have joined this computer into the domain controller. So now this computer was initially a standalone computer, but now we have joined it to the domain. So it's now inside here. All right, it's now inside here. Good. So now you can share resources with anything that is inside this domain because you have joined it to the domain controller. So now we need to, for the purpose of this class, that is what we wanted to achieve today, joining a computer to the domain. Before I stop the video, I want to go in and show you in the domain controller that the computer has joined it. We go back to your SQL AD. If you go back to Tools, click on Active Directory Users and Computers. If you go here, click on your domain, click on Computers. Can you see it? One computer has been joined into the domain. So we have to go and, in your organization, this is where you see all computers joining the domain. So this is what I want you to achieve in this week's class. When we come back next week, we will take it up from here. Please watch the video. Do exactly as I did from the beginning to the end. See you in class the next time.